on the cards for you.
Gen Z baby girls, whether you're age phobic or not, you got to face the fact of your bigotry. 90% of you are liberals or left wing, so the bigotry is a bit bullshit. It drove me into a psych ward because I've gone 8 years without a girlfriend. You know about telomeres research and all the dudes and chicks on that. There's like 2,100 studies on this shit. I ain't got Marfan syndrome, schizophrenia, or autism. The diagnosis was bipolar 1. Yeah, I might pass that on to my children. Maybe. But with the intergenerational thing, it would probably wipe it out. Maybe. The question is how my parents don't have mental illness and I got mental illness. I don't believe the diagnosis myself. I can't smoke pot for 90 days. I'm cool with that. I got school to do anyway. I'm really sick and tired of your age phobia, your hate, and your classes. And telomerase research says I give your baby stronger DNA, and I figure if I combine with you, Gen Z, 18 to 24-year-old Fegan range, 21 is the Fegan point, 35 to 55 the Fegan range, 45 is the Fegan point. I'll be 41 next week. I'm tired of your age phobia, your bigotry, your greed, your lies. No, I'm not saying that's everyone, and no, I'm not saying that everybody got to have children. 67% of your generation does. If you're going to date gray-haired dudes anyways, you're walking around outside age gapping in Spokane, I probably don't want a fat chick because that would pass on inconvenience shit for my thing. The zygote is in stake. Even millennials and Zoomers won't pass on at this age the greatest of telomeres because it's a generational effect. That doesn't mean you shouldn't date. It is COVID-19. I'll do like video chat with you. Until this video chat, I have no reason to smoke you out. Isaac. I mean, if you want a pretty girl, you walk up and compliment her. You say like, "Hi, nice shoes," or something like that. No smart ass, sexy shit. I was probably the nicest guy in the hospital. I was in Inland Northwest Behavioral Health. I can't smoke weed right now because I'm on an LRA for 90 days, but that's fine. I don't really need pot. I got my Coke. I usually do Diet Coke, but I needed something sugary because I haven't really had any like the good leaded soda. I was in the hospital in Inland Northwest Behavioral Health. I called in a suicide threat. And they took care of me for 2.5 weeks. What's going to keep me from being suicidal? Well, I'm working on another board game right now. I got two. I'll show it to you in a bit. Gen Z, you really got to own up to your age phobia. After what I just said, baby stronger DNA, and all that shit where you lie and then you go do the opposite thing. People who do that are wrong. Don't do that. At least just tell me the truth. No hater shit. Don't tell me it ain't in the cards when you look like a fat dick fuck turd, you know what I'm saying? When it looks like your face is you shat out poop. You know what I'm saying? Keith? I mean, I waited 7 hours for this douche canoe to fucking show up, and then he started calling me mucus. Before that, he was like saying my behavior was childish. Knock it off. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand that shit where it's like you lie and go do the other thing. You know? Fuck all that. What do you think drove me to the hospital? Maybe your ableist terms like schizo? I can show you the paperwork that I have bipolar 1. Fuck you, bigot. A man forgives, and that's what I'll do. A woman forgives, an adult forgives, that's what I'll do. But don't expect me to sesh with you if there's no honey bay for me to talk to you. If you're mad that I'm using your slang, fuck you. If you know all these chicks and won't hook me up, fuck you. My anger is caused by your age phobia and classism. I'm not really all that mad. If I was, I'd be really mad. You know, I mean, I'll shave and shit and shower before the date. We'll go to Clinker Digger. You dating older dudes anyway. I'm a star, baby. I think the best thing for me to do right now is to look for a job. I'm not saying you're classist, but you're kind of classist. I mean, you'll date those flat bill fuckers that look like Popeye before you date me that got the EBT cards, but then you deny me based on your age phobia. Or it'll be the other thing where you'll date guys under your economic class, um, but will only date millennials or Gen Z. Gen Z, you're bigots. You need to stop this shit. I'm Gen X, 1979. I was born 11/27, so my birthday's coming up, and it's real inconvenient for me that I've gone 8 years without a girlfriend or a date or anything like that. Now I went on a date with Kiki. Maybe the problem is with white girls. I don't know. I don't know. Kind of seems like it's just a Gen Z problem in general. Most of you are age phobes. You won't date Gen X dudes, despite the fact that it would give your baby stronger DNA. And you would give our baby stronger DNA, and I would, because I'm Gen X and you're Gen Z. I've done 4 years of personal research on this shit. Don't lie to me. That's a bit gross. Still drinking my Coca-Cola. I'm kind of getting my last swings in after I have to go to the insulin again. So I'm working on my pancreas and shit. Um, shit. What else? Biden won. That's good. We're right with Biden. I'm definitely a Democrat now. Well, always was. I have those leftist leanings and whatnot. I've stood up against misogyny, racism, and homophobia. Ask my mom how fucking left wing I am. Instead of lying to me, don't lie to me, Sophia. Sophia is alt right anyway. If you're like kicking it with like the alt right or the boys with money, you're a problem. You shitholes. I think I'm gonna look for a job. I think Motel 6 might be hiring. So I'm gonna maybe get a janitor position. I mean, I can make $1,000 a month. That would more than double my income. I'm going back to school to get my associates of science. It might take me 1 more year after this, or up to 5. I doubt it'll take me 5. It'll probably take me 3 at the pace I'm going. So that starts in January over the internet. I didn't like the math, but the math is a little bit different because they throw out new terms. I kind of figure that if I get a job and do that health class I'm doing, because I need a couple health credits, I can maybe do a work study or something and do a better job instead of like a janitor. If I have to do a janitor for a while, I'm trying to get my PhD in genetics. It's cold out, but it's not snowing. I'm just kicking in the motel for now. It's weird. That chick at Starbucks that you fucking renobs bring up every day was like 23 years old, and you're still calling me a pedophile. Fuck you. Sophia will give me their best wishes, I'm sure, on my birthday because they're fucking assholes. And Biden wants a cleaner cut, nicer United States. You guys are all out there fucking during COVID-19 anyway, and doing your big crowds. And you know how the COVID is. It jumped from 60,000 to 900,000 over the course of a month. And you're all out there fucking, hooking up. It's your fault, Gen Z. This is your fault. Everybody hooking up at the bar scene? Are you kidding me, Gen Z? So yeah, best wishes to me. I'm going to be 41. On November 27th. Let's do some video chats or whatever. You know? I think Biden's going to help legalize marijuana on the national level. So places like INBH and Foothills and Kalispell will do things like legalize marijuana on the federal level. And if that's so, then mental health places could get marijuana for people instead of fucking around with the pills. They put me on the bill. If I didn't like it, I have to do it to fulfill the LRA. I was off for a while, but I have to get back on. That's fine. Ariana is a chick that I was kind of interested in that I met at Motel 6. I think she might be a prostitute or just a slut. I don't know. Gen Z, this is your fault. The COVID rates rising. You're all out there fucking around. Social distancing much? No. So social proximus much? Oh. To me, it's pretty crazy to me how I've dated a baby boomer, but Gen Z asshole flat bills and no, I can't say no. What really bugs me is that you're there like, oh, Lucas is an age phobe when I've dated a baby boomer and a woman that was 18 years older than me. I also dated a woman that was 12 years older than me. Who's the age phobe? Go date a baby boomer then, Gen Z. Line up. It's funny to me how you call me a racist when I went on a date with a black chick after Black Lives Matter and finger blasted an 18-year-old girl in the back of her car when I was 34. Was black. Two of them. And the interesting thing is that Kiki and Ella, other than the fact that they're non-white, their names are palindromes, which is they're spelled the same forwards and backwards. Well, kind of. Ella, I'm just playing. You know they're not palindromes. Ella, Ele, no, Kiki. Well, if you took the key and the key, halfindromes, sortadrome. Look, yo, I get it. I'm I'm a leftist and a Democrat. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But here's the thing. People call me king all the time, and it's really convenient for me that they do because I actually am a king. I'm related to King Radicus, which would make me royal blood. It was of the team Varini, the family Varini, or Varini, however you want to pronounce that, how Werner came to be. So technically speaking, I guess I sort of am a king. There's a lot of Werners, though. I mean, there's that Werner trucking line, that Werner sausages, Werner ladders, and I'm not saying I'm related to them, but like because it's like Smith. You know, it's like one of those names in Germany that's like Johnson or any other common name. But technically speaking, I guess I would be a king because I'm related to King Radicus, who was the son of King Helicles. So like 1400 years ago, if I was a Werner, I would be a king. And I get it, I'm a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? Like the story is that Theudegild, who was his mom, from Britain, married King Helicles, who was the sister of Theudebert I of England, and they gave the Germans at this time 10,000 ships and 400 men because the barbarians, like the Vandal tribes, like where I came from, uh, Warini, the Vandal tribes. If I can do that well, the Vandal tribes, I'm probably a blue blood. But we got that and we had to repay a war debt because of that. We were going to go conquer Italia. Of course, we all know that Rome fell in 476 AD. And by this time, it was like 576 ish. You know, it was 100 years after the fall of Rome. It would be like America falling in the year 2120. China tried to overthrow America. You know, like it was an anarchy for just warring tribes for 100 years, and then China came in and swooped, but then couldn't, and then conquered Russia or something and renamed it something else. That's essentially what my family line did. They conquered Thule. We've all heard of Thule, the Thulians, but where were they from? Well, they became Scandinavia because we said we got to repay this war debt. We're these big Teton motherfuckers. My dad's really tall, you know, good muscle mass. He looks like a supermodel when he's 69. Hey, papi. So we had to repay this war debt because we didn't want a bunch of like little tiny Britons and Peaks with their pikes coming over on ships to murder us. So we overthrew Thule and said, Scandinavia, that's what you're called now. Scandinavia. Thule, you're called Scandinavia now because of tribe Warini, my people. So it was like 1400 years ago. We were all basically the same one big family, which would be like the Smiths, you know, 1500 years ago being the same. house or whatever. There were other Vandal tribes, of course, and there were like all these other tribes, like the Geats and the Gauls and stuff like that. The Goths, the Visigoths, other tribes around. The Picts were a tribe in Scotland. I'm just saying there were the Franks and stuff. We married into the Bretons. So technically I'm mixed race 1400 years ago, and also like a mixed race because I'm related to probably every tribe in Europe through like 1500 years of mixed race breeding. I was on a roll. I guess that's because I'm mixed race. Like my mom is mostly Western Europe, like Danish and Irish and stuff like that. My dad is mostly Eastern Europe and Western Europe. Like my mom's tribe was called the Vili. She's a Willis. Again, like 2,000 years ago, all related. And they were Vandal tribes as well. I think Viking, the word Viking. So Vili and Varinese were Vilis way before that. The Wheelies, which comes from the word, you get the word will or willpower, or Varini, varnish, protector. That's what Werner means, is protector. So I'd be a good boyfriend. I'm a protector. I'm not really a gun Nazi though, so whatever. Communists own guns too. I'm just saying that like I'm technically, I guess, sort of kind of a king. Fucking Trump supporters. I'm going to tell you what you assholes told us for 4 years. Biden won. Get over it. Losers. All right, you guys, I have a treat for you. I'm going to show you the board game that I've been brainstorming for 4 years using telomeres. And speaking of intergenerational, mixed race children, mixed race, mixed generation. It was going to tentatively be called telomeres, but I've been brainstorming this for 4 years. I finally drew it up and figured it out, like 80 sheets of paper within my notes while I was at the behavioral health place. So you start out harvesting. You can't mate with your own race, so you have to play the board a little differently. If you're black, you play as William, you try to create children in a home. So you're harvesting women, but really you're swooping women. You see what I mean? You're dating women, but you're going around like you'll harvest or swoop everything around it that's of the same skin color or the same race. So the blonde, the black girl, but you can't. If you're William, go with Joy because you're both black. And it's you get everything around where you land at. You land at a free space, and the six around. You're trying to build combos like maybe 666 would be LA would be the easiest combo. Sixes are very important within gaming because of dice and hexagons. You can move six adjacent spaces rather than four. So a lot of people like hexagons, and octagons are becoming more popular within gaming now. And that's basically what it'll look like. But it'll be dice, you'll roll the dice. And they won't all be D6s like I have pictured here, but the dairy is a D4, and there'll be three D4s, because I can only think of four dairy. I'm not doing specifics on it. Cheese is one. It could be any kind of cheese, but you have to explain your meal as you draw at least four of the 10. It's not actually 12 right now. What did I see? 10 different 5 colors of die. Um, I changed that in the course of it, so I had already drawn the dice, but they're not going to look like that either. So after you swoop your honeys, or your honey, it's really only 6 women. So every blonde around there is the same girl, but you're going to different themed restaurants or perhaps another Italian restaurant. You're choosing your theme. Based on that map there, it looks the same as that, except these are just, you choose on your worker, on the worker there. Everybody uses the same worker because the same, you're going around, maybe you'll pick Chinese as your theme, and you'll have to build a Chinese meal based on the vagaries of the dice. Like one dice is cucumber, not cucumber. One side is so there's the produce ice, which are green, the protein, which are red, the dairy are blue. It's a reference to a Clockwork Orange, the blue milk. But yellow is green, condiments are orange. I could have done purple for condiments, but I don't find a lot of like purple condiments. But my apply sauce is orange, so I just went with orange. when you mix ketchup and mustard together. Salad dressing, you know what I mean? Like it'll be kind of vague. The hot sauce, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, relish. Um, so it'll be very vague descriptions. It'll be a D6 for the condiments, and I think I only have. Let me check. See the materials list. Um, for the house you build. Like it'll be up to 4. Why is it all blurry and shit? Oh, there we go. So those are the things you can build a house out of. The chemicals, the destination. So you're building combos in order to do a destination. And you're proving it by doing your theme, organizing. You have to pick at least 5 of the 10 roll dice. So half of them. I know it's pictured as 12, but I drew that out already and then reassigned it. You can see I screwed up. It's editing. Then if you win your combo, like 6 of one race, 6 of another race, 6 of another race, you can't date your own race. So you could date the Irish girl, the American girl, the blonde girl, the black girl is out the option if you play as William. You can't date Joy. Cassandra is the Chinese American. I did that because the Chinese American dude is named Andrew after Andrew Yang. It's the American girl is Sarah after my cousin Sarah. I feel guilty for not including my cousin Rachel, but what are you gonna do? I have to have another race, so I might name the black girl Rachel, just because my cousin, who's not black, of course, because I'm white, but I have her named Joy right now because it's just a name. Hadish is the Saudi guy. The Saudi girl is going to have a name. I don't really have a name for her right now, but I need to look up because I don't really know Arabian names, you know what I mean? The Arabian Peninsula. But every combination that you score like gets you a trip. So Bangkok would be a higher one because it might be 10-10-10 instead of 6-6-6 or 10-5-3 or something, different races. I'll assign that later. But I have LA because 6-6-6. It's just kind of funny for LA, and sixes, of course, are very popular. A lot of people, hexagons and dice, D6s, octagons, or 8, they're becoming more popular. But sixes are very popular within gaming. So that's what it looks like. So you go from that point, you play your cards, you're trying to get high fat content with the dice thrown on the cards. So high fat content is a good offend, and a good defend would be low caloric content. So you're like pairing something with a salad as you fight. You're defending with the salad, but you're offending with maybe spaghetti. And you might have 5 ingredients that you choose for that, which would be tomatoes, ground beef, or whatever meat you want to use, egg, flour, and perhaps cheese. Cheese, very vague, but you have to make a dish that would be something that you would find within the first 10 Google searches. You just say maybe like spaghetti with meat sauce restaurants or spaghetti with meat sauce. You don't have to be on the nose, but you have to be on the nose enough. Potatoes au gratin would be maybe potatoes, cheese, milk, and butter. Salt and pepper aren't in the game because they're superfluous, but you have herbs and spices that could add a little something something to it, like dill if you're making a tzatziki sauce. And tzatziki sauce would be allowable because you would use sour cream, which is in it, cucumber, dill, or whatever else you want to add to make a tzatziki sauce. Maybe you have like a tomato tzatziki sauce or something like that. But you would have to prove that it actually exists within the first 10 Google searches on that list. You have a minute to organize, and then maybe you'll have as much time as you need to prove it within the first 10 ingredients lists on Google. So the internet will come into play because you can't just ask the others, hey, is this good? Because all say no, they don't want you to get the points because they want to win. It's not like Dixit where people judge if that's a good story or not kind of in secret. You know what I mean? Nobody would vote yes because you have to vote on the other one. So it's not like Dixit. So once you do your combo, you can go on the destination. play your cards, offend, defend. You have to collect the telomerase cards, 90 telomerase cards within the thing. I have to switch the card to 190 because there's 10 cockblock cards, 90 of the food. You see how long that list is. Berry mixed berries will be on one side of one die. And you have to also play your cards to get the chemicals that you need because you have to build the 6 systems of the body that I assign. It's not going to be on the nose. It's not going to be an exact pinpointing of what's within the skeletal system needing serotonin. It'll be what I assign it to be. Serotonin could be low or it could be high depending on what I decide what the combination is. It'll be something 5 or less. Some might even have 0 just to kind of make it fair. Like some will be really easy to build, or some will be harder. Muscle might be more chemicals needed. You have to collect the cards. The telomerase are basically the mana, so they have 1-2 function. I always thought the Magic the Gathering was a bit simple in that you didn't use the mana for anything other than your magic casting. You know what I mean? But another one you collect, so as soon as you have 5, you have enough for the intellect. As soon as you have 5, you have enough for the empathy region of the brain. And then you have the physical fitness, like the motor function of the brain. And you have to build those 3 of the brain. It's intergenerational. Higher telomerase in the zygote. You see what I mean? But you also have to use those 3 to attack. So as soon as you build 5, you throw them back in. It'll be actually 190 cards, 90 food, 90 telomerase. If you collected them all at once, it would be 15 times 6 players, see the 6 dots. That's how you move around and harvest your dates. But you're swooping instead of harvesting. It's based on a lot of those harvesting games where it's like World of Warcraft or Antiquity, or games where you land in a spot but you harvest 2 out from there, but this is 1 out of the same color. So it's like when you go in for wood in Antiquity, 1 out, or I think it might be 2 out. You can move 1 or 2 when you move, just like Antiquity, but like it'll be 1 out of the same material, and the material of this is your girl. So you're like picking her up on one street, another street, another street. It won't be too complex. It'll just be color overlay over a cityscape that I'll have and you kind of like harvest around the colors. You know, it'll be divided into 4 or 5 per thing, different hexagons within these hexagons. I didn't get too detailed. But in order to settle, you have to build a home. And of course, you're going to need something of these 18 materials. Up to 4. You'll need a certain amount of wood to build a prairie home. You'll need a certain number to build a frontier home. This residential styles. There's various residential styles. Salt box houses. You can build a salt box house. You can build an A-frame house out of brick. You can build an A-frame house out of wood or glass, however you want to do it, however you want to imagine it in your mind, but I already have that decided. You see how much wood it takes, how much glass it takes. Continental home looks different. So I just explained what I thought. I got a list of 33 and took out the ranch house because ranch houses are like the most common looking house, and I didn't want it to be too common. But you know, a salt box house is one. A bungalow is a type of house. A prairie home, like I said. A continental home. There are all these residential styles of houses, and I assigned what it would cost you. Like you needed flowers for your garden, it'll be 1 through 4. You can use them and get victory points later when you have the house. You ching, 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 add them all up, or you give one away to somebody else and you get points, or you just discard it and don't give it to anybody and get a certain amount of points. So there's the 1s group, the 2s group, the 3s group, and the 4s group. But they're different at values. Like the 2s group, if you discard, you don't get any points. But in the 3s group, you get 2 if you discard. You see how it is? It's a little random, but there's a 1s, 2s, and 3s, and 4s group for amounts you'll need and points that you get. And you have the score tracks, 1 through 1,000 might be. But you have to stop the game when you have the most points, when you have your children built and you have your children have, for whatever their thing is, would be their certain levels, and your home built. You also lay down another type of tile, like Carcassonne. So you have to build the United States. If you've been on vacation in the United States, you can live in the United States, which is the easiest thing. But once somebody's settled in the United States, you can't live in the United States anymore. You have to live like in Europe or something. So you're organizing, you're either putting a tile down or you're switching a tile with another tile in order to build the world map. And this is just a map of the world. You see, right here would be a map of the world. It will look something like that. You can see the 6 players on that. It'll be 2 to 6 player. So there's a materials list. It's 12 hexagons, 6 colors of worker cubes, 3 types. These types up here for that. These types around here for that. And the 6. I think I might have screwed up, and it's only 2 of the workers types because that one moves around. Oh, the 6 for your score track, you'll have your color. It can be brown, yellow, red, or whatever I assign. So there's 432 discs, 12 or 2 gray discs, 6 thinner mats, 10 different dice, and 5 colors. It's pictured as 12, but I screwed up editing. This is my second draft. The pads where you're writing things down. It'll be like pictures or something. It was going to be called telomeres, but I thought it would be cool to start as you're dating. So when you first introduce yourself to a woman, the best line is, "Hi, I'm Lucas. I just wanted to say, hey, I really enjoy some of the words you were saying," or something like that. Or you say something along the lines of, "Hi, I'm Lucas," or something like that. "Hi, I'm John," when you begin dating. Just as an edit to the last video where I said swoop everything that's your own skin color, what I meant to say is you curve everything that's your own skin color. So if you're black, you have to curve the black chick, but you'll swoop everything else. You can swoop everything. You can swoop the Chinese girl. You can swoop the blonde girl if you're black or anything other than them. But you'll curve everything else. So if you haven't watched the last video, watch the last